Hey, hi, greetings of the day. Hope you have had a good start for this Saturday and have some plans lined up for the rest of the weekend. So, again, this particular chart is to analyze an event where someone was very recently awarded PhD degree, the highest degree, and I thought, why not use this opportunity to see if this event is very clearly reflecting in his horoscope, right? Because he's been awarded a PhD, and that too from one of the most prestigious institutions in India. I know him very well. He is a relative of mine. So since today is a holiday for me, I just thought, let me start the day by making a video analyzing this event and again proving it to you guys that how effectively one could use primary directions and distribution through the bounds to pinpoint this particular event. And I will not stop saying that. You may not like it, but I think this is the gold standard. Nothing comes close in terms of I'll be very honest. Last 2 weeks I have been spending some time with Kala Chakra Dasha KCD, okay, and obviously watched a lot of videos trying to understand the Dasha system and also the rules to go about predicting. But what I found is I won't say it is still reliable and so easy to predict on every chart. Like when I saw some videos, obviously on the charts that they use as examples, yes, it was working reliably. But then when I looked at my own chart and few other charts, it was not so easy. I had to obviously use some of the exceptions that they were not considering. And I'm talking about Aruda. I have personally spent a lot of time with the Aruda and the Aruda path concept and the best ways to go about using it. But looks like only if I use them correctly, then uh, you are able to predict it. Secondly, there will be some confusion because if the event happens during a particular dasha, now that dasha itself, because it's a Rashi based dasha, Kala Chakra dasha, and if you see uh, a particular event, say marriage happens during Capricorn dasha, and you have Ketu present in Capricorn, and then sometimes you may not be sure whether it really gives a possibility for that event to fructify. And but the other point is, of course, I did observe that Ketu is in the nakshatra of the seventh lord and those kind of aspects, and it becomes difficult, and sometimes it also looks like a force fit, or it may not be so easy for somebody to use that dasha every time effectively. So I would say you can use that as secondary, and still use any other technique that you think works best for you. But if you really look at it, there are like 3 dozen dasa systems that are in the classics, and sometimes it becomes difficult to really start remembering which conditional dasha is applicable and all that stuff. And that's one of the reasons I moved from the dasha system kind of predictive hierarchy to primary directions. That's how it is. So with that said, this chart, right, on the left you see his natal chart, and on the right you see his most recent solar return chart, which is basically the uh, solar return chart for the year 2025, right? So this is the most recent solar return chart of the scribe, right? And the event is he was awarded a PhD degree very recently, so it's like a fresh event. So now let's dive in to see how primary directions showcases this event. Okay. Now, if you look at 2025, right? So I'll show you multiple ways in which you will be able to see this event. Okay. Uh, as I said, this happened very recently. So if you look at the most recent directions, right? So Observe here. The ascendant is directed to the bounds of Mercury in Capricorn. So the ascendant is directed to the bounds of Mercury in the sign of Capricorn. Now, which basically means Mercury becomes an important chronocrator. Mercury is the divisor, right? Now look at the natal chart. In the natal chart, look at Mercury. So Mercury is at 28 degrees and Sun is also at 28 degrees. So Mercury is partilely conjunct the Sun. What is Sun? Sun is the 10th lord, the lord of the medium coeli, the lord of the MC. And what does MC denote? Fame, success, right? So your chronocrator, which is Mercury, is conjunct the lord of the MC, the 10th lord, which also shows fame, achievement, status in the society. What a beauty. So obviously it talks about some elevation in the status, and this person was awarded a PhD degree. Secondly, Mercury is also the significator of education, right? So Mercury is the Karaka for education as well, right? So the Karaka for education is conjunct the MC Lord. So that's another way of looking at it in my view. Okay, now let's proceed further. Okay, now this person was born in 1987 and today we are in 2025. So by Jan 2025 he would have completed how many years? 38? I don't know. Sometimes I have to use calculator for everything. Right. So he has completed 38 and his 39th year is running. He is running the 39th year. Right. So 39th year, as I said, you will subtract 39 from the nearest multiple of 12, which is 36. So 39 minus 36, 3. So the profected sign moves to the third sign from the ascendant. Ascendant is Scorpio. So Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn. So the ascendant is the profected ascendant, I would say. The profected ascendant is now 24 degrees of Capricorn, right? If the profected ascendant is 24 degrees of Capricorn, remember the profected 10th lord, okay, the profected 10th lord is Venus, because this is the ascendant is Capricorn, the 12th house is Sagittarius, the 11th house is Scorpio, and the 10th house automatically becomes Libra. So if the ascendant is Capricorn, I mean the profected ascendant, the profected 10th house sign is Libra, and hence Venus is the profected 10th lord. Okay, profected 10th lord is Venus, whereas since the profection sign moves to Capricorn, Saturn is the lord of the year. So Saturn is the lord of the year and Venus is the profected 10th lord. Just remember these two things: Saturn, lord of the year; Venus, profected 10th lord. Right? I hope no confusion here so far. Right? Now again, going back to primary directions, observe here, again early on in January 2025, look at this primary direction. The moon is directed to a trine of Venus. The moon is directed to a trine of Venus. Okay, and remember, moon is the sect light for this particular individual. I said sect light. Okay, you can read about it, because this guy is nighttime birth. He was born before sunrise of the next day. So moon is the sect light. Okay, and my guru always says sect light also showcases a lot of important events. Now moon is directed to the trine of Venus, and what is Venus? Venus is the profected 10th lord. So Venus again becomes a chronocrater because the significator moon is directed to the trine of Venus, and Venus is the 10th lord. Again showing some connection with status, fame, career, those kind of stuff. So again, a 10th lord kind of thing, and it's a harmonious trine aspect. Now, as I said, right, these events become even more certain when there is repetition. So from a primary direction standpoint, moon is directed to the trine of Venus. And look at the solar return chart. You see moon at 12 degrees of Gemini and Venus at 15 degrees of Aquarius. So again, as I said, moon is once again trining Venus, and Venus here, although I don't want to take I would say house ownerships in the solar return chart, but Venus is also the 10th lord of the solar return chart. So you have moon in the 10th house of the solar return chart trining Venus, the 10th lord. So again, moon is making a connection with the 10th lord. Apart from this, you already have moon directed to the trine of Venus. So this moon Venus trine is repeated, re-emphasizing 10th house events related to status, fame, elevation, rise, and all those kind of aspects. So this is how I just thought I should bring it to your notice, how using primary directions, distribution through the bounds and profections, you will be able to beautifully pinpoint an event or justify why an event took place. I'm sure there are more combinations that you would observe. Like, I just wanted to point one more thing. If you see, I said ascendant is directed to the terms of Mercury in Capricorn, right? Ascendant is directed to the terms of Mercury in Capricorn, and look at Capricorn sign here. The terms of Mercury is basically the band first 7 degrees, 0 to 7 degrees. So ascendant is directed to the terms of Mercury in Capricorn. So 0 to 7 degrees is somewhere here, because you are already at 25 degrees of Sagittarius. So your directed ascendant is somewhere here, directed ascendant, which is 0 to 7 degrees. And if you see, in just a couple of days, see, remember, your solar return chart is still a freeze frame position of the chart of the year. So obviously the clock ticks even further on. So you have sun at 28 degrees, and you know that sun roughly moves 1 degree per day. So after 2 or 3 days, the sun is going to fall into the directed ascendant. So what it would mean is, in just 2 or 3 days, the sun will fall into the terms of the directed ascendant. The sun will enter the terms of the directed ascendant. Sun will enter the terms of Mercury, right? In a couple of days. And again, as I said, what is sun? Sun is the natal 10th lord. So again, you have got a 10th house connection related to status, fame, elevation and stuff. Try to understand. See, right now it is at 28 degrees. In 2 or 3 days, it's going to enter 0 degrees or 1 degree of Capricorn, and 1 degree of Capricorn is basically within this bounds. So the sun enters the bounds of Mercury. So it basically means the sun falls in the terms of the directed ascendant. The sun will pretty much fall in the terms of the directed ascendant, and sun again is the 7th lord. And then obviously Mercury as such is again a significator of higher education and all those stuff, among many others. So I hope you like this. And yesterday night I also made a video on a sneak peek for primary directions. What exactly do I mean by ascendant is in the terms of planet A, planet B, whatever. So I hope this will inspire you to study. Also look at methods outside the typical Vedic astrology dashas, like your Vimshottari, Dvisapti Sama and Ashtottari. I have made videos on some of it. I'm not saying that you should not use these methods, but I'm saying also try and explore other methods which did not make it to Indian astrology, which I don't see anybody using. And again, through this video, hats off to my guru for guiding me. I know he is like super busy, but then whatever little I know today is because of the help that he extended and whatever knowledge he was able to pass on based on some limited conversations that I have had with him. So hats off, and thank you. Continue to have a nice weekend. Bye.